Hey everyone, so today I'll be showing you how to do a pedicure in 7 simple steps. So for step 1, we're going to start by removing all of the old nail polish on your nail, and we're going to do that by using a cotton pad and nail polish remover, and then after that I'll show you how to get rid of that kind of yellow outer layer on the nail. So I've just put some nail polish remover onto a cotton pad, just enough to do all of the toes, and then we're going to hold it down onto each toe for a couple of seconds and then wipe away really gently. Nearly done, and that is done. So to remove the top yellow layer of the nail, which can be caused from nail polish, we're going to massage in some lemon or lavender oil for about a minute and then buff the nail. So I'm just going to take some normal aromatherapy lavender oil and apply it to my finger and then apply it to the toe, and then I'll just massage it in for a little while until it's sunk in, and then afterwards for about a minute I'll let it sink in by itself. So just doing the big toe, and then after just do all of the other toes just exactly the same. So now for the buffing, you can use one of the 4-sided buffers, but I'm not going to use one of them just because I don't like the feeling of it. So I'm just going to use this type, which will just leave the nail a bit shiny. So I'm just going to take the buffer and rub it against the toenail, and it will just remove that yellow outer layer, leaving the nail nice and glossy and shiny. And I'm showing you how to do it on the big toe, but afterwards just go ahead and do it on all the other toes exactly the same as well. So step 2 is cutting and filing the nails. So I'm just taking a normal nail clipper and I'm going to start clipping the toenail, and it doesn't matter if you leave it in like a rigid shape because we're going to be filing them straight after, which will leave them nice and smooth shaped. And now onto all of the other toenails, and a good length of the toenail is just above the skin but just below the tip of the toe. So nearly done, and that is done. So now for filing the toenails, I'm just using an emery board nail file, and make sure that when you're filing the toenails, try not to use a metal file just because it can rip them. And I'm making sure that I file in one direction so I don't damage the nail. And now onto all the other toes, and also I'm making sure that I'm filing the edges so they're curved so that I don't have like a sharp edge jabbing into the skin. And nearly done filing, and that is done. So now for step 3, we're just going to soak the feet. So now we're just going to soak our feet in water. Just pour a bowl full of warm water and add in your favourite bath salts or bubble bath, and let them soak for about 10 to 15 minutes. So I've just poured a bowl full of warm water and I've put in some bubble bath, and make sure that you have a towel at the ready so that when you take your feet out you have something to dry them with. And so I'm just going to soak my feet for about 10 minutes in the water. Also, the more cracked or rough your feet are, the longer you need to soak them. So this is easier to do over a bath, but to remove the dead skin on your feet, we're just going to take an exfoliating foot or body scrub and apply it to a pumice stone or a foot file. I'm going to be using a pumice stone, and I'm going to mainly scrub the balls of my feet, the toes and the heels because they're the main places that get rough or cracked. So I'm just going to take the pumice stone and soak it in the water. And then I'm just going to remove the bubbles from my hands and then take the foot or body scrub. And I'm just going to apply a generous amount of it onto the pumice stone and then just rub it into the pumice stone a little bit. And then we're just going to take the foot and just start scrubbing, mainly on the heels, toes and the balls of the feet. The little beads in the exfoliating foot or body scrub will help take away any dead skin. But make sure you don't take off too much skin. You don't want to remove it all, you just want to leave it smooth. And if it starts to get red, it means you need to stop because you've scrubbed too hard. So now we're just going to dry the feet using a towel. So now for drying the feet, like I said earlier, it's best to have a towel at the ready, otherwise you'll get water everywhere just trying to find the closest towel. We're just going to dry them really gently. And now onto the other foot. And make sure you dry really thoroughly between the toes because if you leave them damp, the dampness can cause athlete's foot. So for step 5, we're going to remove the cuticle. So we're going to start by applying some cuticle remover and then massaging it in and then letting it sink in for about a minute. So I'm just going to take the cuticle remover and unscrew it. It's kind of like a lip gloss tube. And then I'm just going to apply a little bit to the finger and then I'll rub it into the cuticle. And I'm going to massage it in until it's all sunk in, and I'm going to make sure that I go right up to the edges. And applying the cuticle remover will condition the cuticles and make them easier to push back. So now we're going to use an orange stick to push back the cuticles, and we're going to use the flatter slanted end to push it back, and because we've just soaked the feet in water and applied cuticle remover, it will have made the cuticles softer and easier to push back. So taking the cuticle pusher or orange stick and using the flat side to push back the cuticle. Be really gentle to not push them back too hard, and especially on the big toe, make sure you push back the cuticle on the sides of the nail too. And pushing back the cuticle will make your nails a lot healthier and look a lot nicer. So if there are any obvious catchy bits of cuticle or hangnails, just use the other side of the orange stick or cuticle pusher to remove it, but gently, and don't remove any toe flesh. So step 6 is to moisturise our feet. So now we're going to moisturise the feet with a moisturiser or lotion. I'm just using a hand and body lotion, which will make my feet feel softer and smell good, and then after we'll moisturise the cuticles with some cuticle oil. So we're just going to take a little dollop of moisturiser or lotion in our hands and simply rub it into the foot, getting right into the toes and the bottoms of your feet and the tops. And if you have any extra lotion or moisturiser in your hands, you can start rubbing it into your ankle area or leg, and your feet should feel nice and soft after. So now we're just going to apply cuticle oil to the cuticles to moisturise them. So we're just going to take the cuticle oil and we're just going to squeeze a drop out of the pipette onto the cuticle area, and then we're just going to rub it in using circular motions. And the cuticle oil will condition the cuticles and leave them softer and smoother. And finally, step 7 is to paint the toes. So before we paint the nails, we're just going to use a cotton pad and nail polish remover to remove any excess oils. So just taking the cotton pad with enough nail polish remover on it to remove any of the excess oils on all of the toes, and that is done. So now we're just going to apply a clear base coat to prevent the nail from getting stained from any nail polish colours. So I'm just using Barry M all-in-one base coat, top coat and nail hardener. And starting on the big toe, just painting it on, making sure not to paint any of the cuticle or the skin. Nearly done. And now onto the other toes. And that is done. So next for painting on the colour, I'm using Melon of Troy by OPI, which is a great spring-summer colour, and I'm applying 2 coats. So just taking Melon of Troy, which is a kind of peachy, pinky, orangey colour. So just unscrewing the lid and taking the right amount on the brush. And starting on the big toe, I'm going to do 2 coats so that the colour is completely opaque. And now for the other toes. Nearly done, and that is done. And finally for a clear top coat, which will help the polish last a bit longer and give it more of a gloss. So for the top coat, I'm just using the same Barry M base coat, top coat and nail hardener as I did for the base coat. So just the big toe. And now onto all of the other toes, and this will just give it a nice glossy shine, and that is done. So that is the whole pedicure done. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. Bye!